And welcome to another game of Pop It with your host, me, Matt Rebar. And I am so excited for today. This is probably my favorite episode. We haven't even filmed it yet because these topics are so juicy. Joining me is 5-time in a row winner, Alexa, who has just trampled on people. She is like a stampede of intelligence and humor. And so we're like, who can we finally bring back to take on Alexa? And the first person I thought of was Robin. Robin's back, my good friend, my media / college buddy, Robin, who always has the facts. She is smart as a whistle. That's a term. And coming back too is funny guy and dressed very nice for the occasion, as he told me earlier. Blake, thanks for joining us, you guys. And I'm so excited. So let's just get right into it. First topic, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Boy, do they have things to say when they sat down with Oprah. Meghan talked a lot about how she was depressed, suicide tendencies, how no one was helping her at the royal family. And then it gets even worse when they admit that someone or someones were concerned over the baby Archie's color of his skin, which is like, what's going on? So Alexa, start us off with your take on all of this.
Well, first of all, what did she expect? I mean, this is a family that is known for, like, Henry VIII beheaded 2 of his wives. Like, at the other times they were tossing them out for not having male sons. It's like they complained about the skin color. It's the British monarchy. Jesus, it's an archaic structure. They live off of the taxpayers of Britain and they want them to be progressive. In my opinion, I don't feel bad for her because she should have known what she married into.
That's your time. By the way, you used some really good SAT words in there. I gotta say, you were like, the archaic was fantastic. Let's go over to, I feel like we're gonna hear some really good opinions from Robin. Robin, what's your take?
Well, I think a lot of what they had to say was really heartbreaking, but like Alexa said, it's not necessarily surprising. And a lot of it really parallels what Princess Diana went through. And I think it was really admirable for Meghan to talk about her mental health. Her courage probably saved lives. And I think this was Exhibit A, especially for younger people, about why Oprah is Oprah. She's one of the best in the business and probably the best at what she does. No one else can quite interview like her.
Yeah, I gotta say, when Oprah was like, were you silent or were you silenced? Like, oh, like, just hit me like a train. She is fantastic. Blake, are you feeling royally upset or royally intrigued? What's your take?
Oh, just like them, it's a no-brainer this was going to happen. But everyone that's like upset Meghan Markle came out and said stuff about them is dumb, because the best way to make someone petty, especially a woman, is to talk shit about their son. And they said he was not going to have security, wasn't going to have a title, and we're wondering how dark he was going to be. Of course she's going to be pissed about it. And the whole suicidal thoughts, like she said, good for her. She's going to help a lot of people, and I'm not surprised by any of it, but anyone who is, you're dumb.
I like that. If you're surprised, you're dumb. I like that. And it's interesting too. You look at the history of the royal family, man, and it's scandal after scandal after scandal, and it's insane. It's insane. All right, speaking of more scandals, Pepe Le Pew, the creepy skunk, is being kicked off Space Jam 2. Do we care? Do we think that this is censorship? Did anyone even like Pepe Le Pew? Blake, your take.
Okay, one, Pepe is definitely a creep, always has been, always will be. Could have stayed in the movie because it actually had a positive message, because LeBron was going to tell him, hey man, you can't touch tunes without permission, which would have been nice to put out there, but doesn't matter if he stayed in the movie or not, it wasn't going to change anything. He didn't even have a lot of scenes.
Ooh, sharp and to the point with Blake. I like it. Robin, cutting to you. What do you think of this Pepe Le Pew situation?
Well, it's like the old saying goes. First they came for the sexy Lola Bunny, and I did not speak up, for I did not think Lola Bunny was sexy. Then they came for Pepe Le Pew, and I did not speak up, because I don't really care about Pepe Le Pew. And then they came for me, and there were no cartoon characters in Space Jam 2 left to speak up for me.
I'm sorry. I should try and recompose myself. All right, moving on to Alexa. What do we think?
This is cancel culture at its finest. I mean, I personally don't think, that you really need to cancel him for being a skunk. As a trans person, I don't like his cartoon, because it's like, it makes too good of a trans metaphor that he's after a cat that just happens to look like a skunk. Like, what's he gonna do when he figures out that it's not really a skunk? I'll tell you what, Twinkie defense and then curb stomp. That's what happens 100% of the time, so.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, Alexa. I gotta say, I've always thought Pepe Le Pew was kind of creepy. Wasn't a big fan. I didn't care that he was kicked off personally either. It's just funny how the second people are like, you know what, we're not gonna have Pepe Le Pew, people start to care about Pepe Le Pew. Like, if there had not been any discussion that like, oh, Pepe Le Pew was kicked off, if he just wasn't in the movie, would anyone have noticed? Would anyone have cared? No. It's the second that they say, you know what, we're not gonna put him in. We don't really like the history of the character. It's the same thing with Dr. Seuss that just happened. I mean, these Dr. Seuss books that got banned, I haven't even heard of half of them. And now suddenly people are like, these are classic Americana treasures that we must uphold and keep and, and leave without the context. No, it's ridiculous. Anywho, moving on to another scandal of sorts. Taylor Swift calls out a Netflix show for saying you dated more men than Taylor Swift was the joke in the show. Taylor said this is sexist, and then fans attacked the young actress who said the line in the movie. Was this a bit overboard? Was this justified? Was this on the mark? Alexa, back to you.
Well, I might be a little biased because I do have a joke that I get dumped more than Taylor Swift. Except I don't compose hit albums. I compose drunk text to each and every one of my ex-boyfriends at 2:30 a.m. every single Tuesday. But I mean, like, really, her relationships are so notorious. She's always in them. She just needs to take time for herself. But I mean, of course, people are going to talk about it. You're a celebrity. So people just need to calm down. It's fine. She's still rich.
Alexa, thank you for that. Robin, what's your take on the T Swift v Netflix?
Well, I gotta actually agree with Taylor on this one. Look, I'm no Swiftie, but I do think it is sexist. And according to taylorswift.fandom.com, do you know how many confirmed public boyfriends Taylor has had? 8. See, the woman is 31 years old. Okay, so I don't think 8 is an unreasonable number. Like John Mayer, Justin Timberlake, Leonardo DiCaprio, they all have like 2 to 3 times as many people that they've dated. And jokes about their sex lives aren't nearly as in the public, like, cultural consciousness as Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Blake, I know you're a huge Swiftie. What do you think of the whole situation?
Okay, first of all, she said the joke was lazy because she said 2010 called about the joke, and that's totally right. Because one, the girl's 15, so she's been dating the same guy since 2017, so the girl would have been 10 when she wasn't dating him. Joke wouldn't work. Doesn't make any sense. Britney Spears had 2 marriages in 2004 and had a mental breakdown, and no one gives her shit for that. All they care about is that her dad has her rights. So let the joke die. Taylor Swift forever.
I gotta say, I think the joke is kind of stupid. It's not like the best joke ever, but my only worry, and obviously I'm biased, I'm a man, I'm not a woman, so I can't say what is or what is not sexist, honestly. But, does this kind of, for me, my biggest concern is there is some real sexism and misogyny at work in our world, in our country, in our community, and does this kind of take away from that? And I mean, and obviously Taylor Swift has been legendary. I mean, you think about her court case for the dollar bill against that radio DJ who, felt her up, etc. I mean, she clearly is a pioneer. She's a strong woman. But it's not a great situation. Let's just say that. Moving on to a tasty situation though. Reese's is dropping the Reese's cups without chocolate. They're going to just do a peanut butter Reese no chocolate special. Is this a waste of time? Is this something that we want to try? Blake, what do you think?
All right, hated the idea at first because I've had their jar of peanut butter, which is absolute booty cheeks. It's terrible. But it turns out the peanut butter they use in the jar is real peanut butter. What they put in the cup has a lot of added sugars, make them more candy-like. I've always had a theory that the shapes are better than the cups because they're softer. And last year they came out with the peanut butter lovers cups that proved this because the soft top did actually make it a 1B to the cup's 1A. So I am super excited to try a full peanut butter Reese's cup.
Wow, the research that you put into this. I love it. Robin, are you going to be trying the chocolateless Reese's?
Yeah, I definitely didn't put as much research into this as Blake, other than like my own thinking of like, okay, this isn't, I kind of object to your question, Matt. This isn't just processed peanut butter. Like, the Reese's peanut butter is some of the sweetest, like most oily peanut butter product out there. Like, I think we've all had our fair share of like the natural organic peanut butter that you have to stir. And the Reese's peanut butter is like the polar opposite of that. So I think this would be a great product, especially for folks who don't like chocolate as much.
Interesting. And Alexa, I'm curious to see what you think of Reese's Sans chocolate.
Well, first of all, was it the Queen of England that suggested they do it without chocolate? Seems to be your thing at the moment. But that being said, will I be trying this? Absolutely not. I have early onset meth mouth. I'm basically Jaws. I had to cancel my barbecue over the summer because my grill is jacked. So I can't eat anything that sweet. Reese's has really sweet peanut butter. I'll take a bite and my teeth will immediately fall out. So no.
Oh, Jesus. That was no comment there. That was fantastic. And our last topic, meme and restaurateur Salt Bae was sexually feeding steak to a customer in front of her date. And then there was more videos that came out that these guys refused to let Salt Bae sexually feed them meat. Do we feel uncomfortable about this? Is it just me that feels a little uncomfortable, but then also like intrigued? Alexa, back to you.
Well, first of all, was there like consent in the sexual feeding of meat? I want to know that. Second of all, were all parties involved? Like, are you sexually feeding meat to people in front of children? Because if so, that's a little messed up. I mean, personally, I wish someone would sexually feed meat to me, but I'm just really lonely. So if someone has some meat, I can send my address after the show.
Perfect. If you want to feed meat, Alexa's here. Robin, what did you think of this story?
Well, first of all, it's good to see Salt Bae back in the news, I guess. And it's good to see that he's really still committing to the salt and the glasses, the whole bit. He's still doing it. But really, I don't find what he did to be that sexual. It makes me uncomfy, but it's not really that different from anything that like a hibachi chef would do, you know? And so I think by going to that sort of a cooking and entertainment experience, you're kind of consenting to have it happen. I think it's funny that some guys like inner homophobia stop them from eating the Salt Bae meat. Because like, if you're there to eat the Salt Bae meat, just eat the Salt Bae meat. But yeah.
That's awesome. And Blake, what did you think of the Salt Bae with the steak to your mouth?
Okay, first of all, it wasn't sexual until the girl went, He made it sexual, not him. And there have been two things that I can think were a lot more awkwardly sexual in front of a group of people. Marilyn Monroe singing happy birthday to John F. Kennedy. That was awkward. And Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper at the Oscars made everyone in the nation want to have a cigarette afterwards. That was way more uncomfortable than this. All the man was doing was putting a knife to a woman's face. She made it weird. And what are you going to do? Pull the knife away? No, you feed her that fucking meat.
God, I got to agree with you too. It wasn't really sexual until the customer was like, and then it was like, oh God.
Yeah, she unrolled her tongue like Kiss.
And I gotta say, I agree with Robin. I mean, it's interesting when men eating meat, which is very manly and hetero, suddenly gets questioned because of just he's dangling in front of your face. Anywho, this has never happened in the history of Pop It. We have a 3-way tie, 30 points each. So what that means is next week we're gonna do sudden death or something because you guys all brought your A game. Blake, I definitely know that Blake and Robin definitely did some research, and Alexa had some jokes ready to roll tonight. It was fantastic. As I knew, one of my favorite games we've ever played in Pop It. So in 2 weeks, Alexa v. Blake v. Robin part 3, because you guys have fought in the past and today. So wow, a 3-way tie. I mean, if that doesn't call for some meat in the face, I don't know what what calls for it. But until then, thanks for playing Pop It. We'll see you next time. Oh gosh, you guys were fantastic. You guys were on fire tonight. Jesus.
By the way, all the research I did on the peanut butter cups was already before this question was asked.
I literally lost my shit when Robin was like, first they came for Sexy Lola. I fucking lost my shit at that. And then I lost my shit again with Blake, you just now. Oh my God. You guys
and
really...
Alexa's chocolate Queen Elizabeth joke.
Yes.
Incredible.
I gave her, she had 7 points on that. That was fantastic. That was tying it back. Oh my God. Oh, Alexa, you survived another day in the kitchen.
I know.
You guys, thank you as always for indulging me and coming on and doing this. I always have a fun time. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.